Hi everyone, this is Boboya Emmanuel Savit, and my cultural study project is on Islam. I chose this subject or topic out of curiosity because my knowledge of the Islamic religion is purely based on um, social media or interactions with a few people that I might have met, but I didn't grace myself the opportunity to have that moment to, you know, read from um, journals or articles about the Islamic religion and the way of living as a um, Muslim. So I approached this subject not as an expert, but as someone curious, wanting to understand religion that is followed by nearly 2 million people worldwide. And honestly, I think there's just so much that we can learn from each other. Now, my curiosity came from wanting to understand how Islam shapes beliefs, values, in daily lives. And as I already mentioned, Islam is followed by nearly 2 billion people, and it is one of the most influential cultures and religion in the world. And that kind of gives me more reason to actually uh, want to learn more about this religion and why, like the way of life and all of that. Um, so, what is Islam? That is a very important question, and it's a question that uh, a lot of us have been asking. And today, I think after the time that I've spent on this project, I'm able to understand what Islam is. So, Islam is a monotheistic faith, just like Christianity and Judaism. Monotheistic means one God. So, Muslims believe in one God called Allah in Arabic, and that Muhammad is the final prophet. The religion centers on the living in peace through submission to God's will. And so, Islam was founded in the 7th century, and the teaching is based on the Quran from the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. And the word Islam means submission to God or Allah. Now, what makes Islam so unique from the rest of the religion is Islam has 5 foundations or pillars. And these pillars, the pillar number 1 is the Shahada, which is the declaration of faith. And then pillar number 2, which is the Salah, which is prayers. And a true Muslim prays 5 times a day. And then the third um, pillar of the Islamic faith is the Zakat, which is charity to those in need. And this, according to what I've learned in this throughout this project time, this mostly happens on Jummah, which is the Fridays, the days of worship, or during the holy month of Ramadan, which is in March. And Siham, which is fasting during the Ramadan. And then lastly is the Hajj, which is a pilgrimage to Mecca. And this happens once uh, in a lifetime. Now, what are some of the common misconceptions about Islam? Um, Before this project, from what I've read on social medias and how people talk about Islam and all of that, is that Islam is a very violent religion, and Islam oppresses women. Islam is only for Arabs. Those are all things that are being put out there. But after spending this time to study Islam a little bit, I'll have to admit that at some point I also had this misconception. But through this project, I learned that Islam promotes peace and is practiced by people of many cultures, not just the Arabs. And that's why in Africa, Europe, in Americas, Islam is there. And that's why Islam is followed by closer to 2 billion people. And that will be something that people need to really talk about. Now, cultural expression in Islam. Islam has some of the most beautiful architectural um, structures. For example, the mosques. The designs are so beautiful, and I think I really enjoyed learning about how Islam is expressed culturally through beautiful art like dress and celebrations. It's a holistic way of life that influences everything from food to fashion, and that is something that is so unique about Islam. Now, I throughout this project, I learned important thing, and number one is that I went from unknown to understanding, and number two, I learned that respect begins with curiosity. But I gained more than I expected. And at first, I just wanted to complete an assignment, to be honest. But I walked away with genuine respect for global faith. This project has given me a new um, way of thinking. And it is important that we have to engage in order to get to know people and in order to understand cultures or just to learn about a people, we have to be intentional and curious. And that curiosity will lead us to an understanding that will give us a different perspective of how we look at people, but also will make us value the relationships that we have with the people around us. Thank you.